obsessed with its pharmacology versus normal stimulants. I was like, what? And you're like, what are you talking about? What? But the thing about amphetamine, methamphetamine psychosis, cocaine, crack psychosis, is that it's so dopamine heavy. It's so dopamine heavy, it causes, I guess, because some people are like, it's, you know, straight flat out hallucinations, but I was obsessed with those kinds of substances because of this thing called like not autistic, something like stereotypies, like repetitive movements, and somehow it's like that kind of like, it's like a signature of that kind of stimulant. But the thing about MDMA that was so fascinating is I read it's barely at all dopamine heavy. It releases serotonin. So not only, what is the right word? Not only it's like not as an addictive drug, you can do it like, you know, within 24 hours. It doesn't really, it's kind of there. I mean, it still is in your system, but it's like you can't just keep going. You just can't keep going. And similar, it really doesn't have the fucking crazy speed hallucinations. Like, I could tell some humdingers of when I was a methamphetamine addict. Like, I would snort these giant fucking rails like this big and walk home screaming in the dark. Go home. But yeah, MDMA was like different. It's like, it is more physically like taxing. It's like, you know, when it hits you, some people, when it's not fun anymore, it's like you just have to like take a shit or something like that. But oh my god, if I was saying about MDMA psychotherapy is that they should offer it to stimulant addicts. It's just like, it's a completely better drug in some ways. I mean, whatever. But yeah. Though I have had the like whatever MDA, the more neurotoxic, the closer isomers or whatever. And dude, I've had some MDA fucking. It does throw you the humdinger where it's very trippy, and it also feels like you're like on the edge of like, you know, completely cracked out of your mind. We're like, I need to get some food, go to sleep. Like, but yeah, like, it was very strange though. Oh my god, those two drugs saved my freaking life compared to being a normal stimulant addict. Like, or not, you know, that's hard to explain. Glass. It was very sad. All the shit that happens down here. It's like, it's absurd to be like, I had the right idea in regards to like the fucking literal devil wreaking hell on the earth. Sometimes it feels like, but what are we gonna do? All right, so yeah, but it's purely serotonin, and it doesn't really, like I said, MDA, the hallucinations, and when I had it was like, it feels like you're in the Twilight Zone. Like, it feels like you're in like this like white like, and just like, I remember smoking like a bowl of weed and trying to drive in the fog, and my car was like just absurd looking, like just it bathed in colors, like, and being like but normal MDMA now, it's kind of just like whoa, it's the, man, I know people don't really give a fuck, but it truly is remarkable, because I think that's why people hung on to Sasha Shulgin so much, or whatever those things, you know, in the underground or whatever. Why would they like it? Well, there's a reason why. And you know, and also Sasha did study metabolism, I believe, too. I think that's part of like an untold thing, because he worked for Dow and was studying pesticides and was kind of mindful about how it probably metabolizes in the body. And he never really advocated for methamphetamine. In fact, I think for court cases, he would actually sometimes do witnessing against them to be like proving it, because sometimes people get caught with like a bunch of stupid buckets and all this shit, and they're like, okay, this is all the methamphetamine lab, all, and it's like, well, you know, they have this kind of, but yeah, I'm not getting into it too much, because it's too much going through all these crazy histories, but it's a good story, I think, still. But yeah, there's more to say, always there's more to say, but for another time. Okay. And it's weird too, I don't want to get into it, but yeah, the whole history. It's crazy though, the idea about prescribed amphetamine. When I first did Adderall, oh my god, it was tough. I was like, I'm gonna have 3 of these. I'm like, that's a good, right? I kind of like getting a little high. I kind of like getting high. I like really getting high. And then I was like, and this was like 20, when I was 20 and I had my brain injury. Oh god, it was fucking so miserable and insane. Like, I've said this another thing about my brain injury, that it felt like literally my family was coming to kill me. That's how crazy it gets, like, unfortunately. Yeah, it's very sad. But this is often normal Adderall, too. I just had no idea how strong it would be. But yeah, I remember because it was my brothers. They did spray painting in my room. They did tagging in my room. So then I'm like crashing. I'm like, what? And I'm like, this is scary. I don't like it. I was just fucking insane. Sorry. Oh, goodness. Yeah. But no, this is head injury because I don't know how to explain. Like, it hit the back of my head. I've heard the vision center is some part of the back. And I remember being like, it's not really I thought them, but there was like, I would be horrified at some kind of visual evidence of it. It was like, they looking at me like, oh, no. Like, oh. And it was like, there's nothing at all. Well, I mean, they did break my jaw and it hit me. But it's not like bad, but yeah. It was terrible, though. I'll get over it, though. Okay, where we at? This is how crazy I'm getting. I've lost track of the fucking pages. Okay. Okay. So yeah, thinking about the chicory coffee was a patriotic drink because it wouldn't contribute to the trade deficit, but it had cheaper ingredients like brick dust, red brick dust, breadcrumbs. I guess I gotta make that money somehow. Shit. Okay, it says a famous coffee house in Paris, Café Fouille. A journalist named Camille Desmoulins, who had drank a great deal of coffee, climbed onto the table and delivered a passionate and articulate speech on freedom and the evils of monarchy. A large crowd gathered. The words were repeated, and the speech was paraphrased. It was July 1787 or 1789. 2 days later, the Bastille fell. So the pharmacology of coffee. Many of the physiological effects of coffee are due to its principal alkaloids, caffeine. The effects of caffeine today are well characterized, though not well understood in terms of cellular mechanisms, in spite of highly refined studies. Researchers have also investigated the activity of the non-xanthine components of coffee. I didn't know there was non-xanthines, which is like the benzene ring with like the 5, and then like there's the xanthine. And when I was a little kid, not a little kid, but 17, I had this sweatshirt that had the caffeine from thinking.com. I look back, I'm like, silly. Okay, so one early researcher named Lehman, after separating out the various components of the beverages and testing them, claimed that the roasted oils slowed the metabolism, and they seemed to excite the intellect rather than the imagination. And modern researchers have confirmed these early studies in some ways. For example, a recent study found that the non-alkaloidal components in coffee, furolicunic acid lactone isomers, they acted as an opiate antagonist. What? These compounds are most prevalent in instant coffees. What? This sounds like bad research, but it's true. I have read things about caffeine for pain relief. You know, like migraine medicine, for example, has aspirin, caffeine, and then other things too, chronic pain, that it can help. I would agree. I'm not saying it dissipates the pain, but yeah, I've never heard of this before. No way. For furolicunic lactone isomers? No way. Bobby, what is that episode? He paints the cabinet with the lactone. And I can't remember. Sorry, to be so silly. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, this is a new one. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes this book will pull out gems that I'm like, what? And then, okay, opiate antagonists. So, yeah, things like salvia divinorum would be so it is like salvia, where it gets you out of this. It kind of makes sense. I like whatever. I don't know. And even then, it's non-alkaloidal. Okay, we gotta look this up. So this shape, or this is not exactly what it's saying. But how is this non-alkaloidal? know. It reminds me of why I was going so bananas. No one to tell you to. Is about recently about the fentanyl prohibition. What was I gonna say? Oh, that sometimes it's like the household plants. It seemed like in like the grocery store actually have. I don't know what the name of it is called. These like big green leafy plants. Not exactly, but it has the possibility of like, you know, a well-seasoned chemist. It's not impossible, bro. This is like, well, I don't even know. I'm gonna get into it, but see what? This is fascinating. I've never seen these shapes before. But it doesn't seem like it would be non-alcoholic at all. I guess it's because this shape, what is it called? I really don't know. I really don't care sometimes. As I was laughing about it, he's autistic as hell, being obsessed with these fucking shapes. It's true. Yeah, so this is the INFOHAZARD part. I hope you appreciate it. I gotta stop because this is where it's broken up and it's actually kind of interesting. But I'm gonna bring up this thing about how I realized the plants in the grocery store have something called phenogran. Phenogran, PHENAGRAN, phenogran. Phenogran, yeah, is a source potentially for fentanyl. So then it's like, what the fuck? Like, they're like, oh, you just banned like fucking 20 other random other drugs because it could make fentanyl. I mean, I guess it could economically, but the idea, I'm like, but then the actual source of fentanyl is the plants in the fucking grocery store. I found this around last year on Mother's Day. It's miserable though. Oh my god, I had this fucking crazy thing where I thought I was abducted by aliens. I didn't even go see my mom on Mother's Day. It was stupid, but I realized that. I was like, I really appreciate it. This is why it's in the NSFW territory. Or there's even, it should be banned. You know what I'm saying? Outright banned. It's too damn much dangerous information. But I realized it when I had the snail affect me really badly or whatever, strongly. Me and Patrick really strongly. that the way fentanyl is so powerful is it fits into hemoglobin receptors. And it's very sad. But you know, if you're saying, oh, it's just the leafy green plants in the store, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, if you isolate like some like crud, like some fucking dulling down crud, some shining dulling down crud from fucking leaves and you shoot it up, yeah, it's gonna be fucking bad. Fucking ridiculous. Anyways, love you guys so much. Thank you. Okay, so these compounds are most prevalent in instant coffees. Yeah, it's weird though, because it definitely has like a oomph to it, the instant coffee I've noticed. I don't know though, whatever. But studies on coffee had often produced conflicting results. It is difficult to separate out the effects of coffee from other dietary and lifestyle factors that may be associated with coffee drinking, such as people under stress may drink more coffee than norms. These studies linking caffeine intake with stress or depression are open to criticism if other lifestyle factors are not adjusted for. New discoveries about the effects of coffee or one of its constituents are being made regularly. Of all the constituent coffee, caffeine is the best to study. Its complex chlorogenic acids are known to interact with caffeine, speeding its absorption and delaying its elimination. Yeah, I have that. The trick is like sugar makes the caffeine metabolize. So, and then like I've heard like soy slows it down. So it's like you could, like I've done that before and I'm like, I drink too much coffee and I have sugar, makes it go away. And then I want to make a soy latte or whatever. And I'm like, this is lasting all day. Okay, okay, recent studies are uncovering the role of the diterpenes in coffee, such as caffeine. It's further discussed on the health thing. Let's do this one ago. These names. Okay.